Mr. Bharat Bala, an acclaimed Indian film director, screenwriter, and producer, is a visionary storyteller with over 30 years of experience across films, documentaries, and commercials. Known for iconic creations like Vande Mataram and Jana Gana Mana, Mr. Bharat Bala has directed over 500 campaigns, including Incredible India. His latest venture, Virtual Bharat, is a 1,000 film journey capturing India's untold stories and cultural heritage.
Imagine India on a boat. The boat is only as strong as the people in it. The power to win is not in any one person. The power is when all of us come together as one effort, one goal. To move forward as a nation is to dream together, to aspire together, to build together. Let's find our thalam as a nation together.
Hi, எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம், namaste, sasriyakal, salam alaikum, and good morning. My name is Bharat Bala. They've already introduced you. And why did I play this film? And what did it resonate with you all to start with? Okay. There was a reason why I brought this film to you today, and I wanted to start with it. Is there something that resonated with all of us, with you? We just want to note so that we can begin. Well, as the film says, as Rahman said, India on a boat. We are all on a boat. What was interesting for me when I started doing that film was, Chundam Vellam in Alapi boat race is very common to everybody. Everybody knows about it. But I chose the theme to represent a bigger idea. The people on the boat, about 90 to 100 of them in one boat, they are not professional athletes. They are very diverse. Fishermen, school teacher, farmer, carpenter, plumber, all of them. But when they sit on the boat together, there's somebody who sets a rhythm. And if they are all these 90 to 120 people are in rhythm, they're winning the race. So the idea is that we are so diverse, especially as a country like India. So the opportunity is that if we find and resonate a talam, a rhythm in us, we as people, individually, and as a nation, we will win. So I think the idea is about, when we talk about, success, how do we find success? It's not individual success also, but it's also collective. Now, I have... they said that I'm now 3 decades old, but I'm actually 4 decades old in filmmaking. And I've gone from the traditional formats of analog filmmaking to digital and now to AI. So this has actually given me a phenomenal opportunity to go through this vast canvas of content creation. But the storytelling is the same. We just used newer tools and been a part of this innovation as it happened. So I'll come to this AI part a little later. But in spite of me being, for 4 decades of filmmaking, why did I get excited to be with you today? I think there's something called Ilamai, the youth, Javani. I think that is something that I retained within myself, I believe. And that's something that drives me. So why I got excited was I wanted to share with you that youth in me, how it fired up something, and it stays with me even after 3 decades. And that keeps me exciting. So you have the opportunity to retain something that you have now and keep that a constant factor as you go along. Because that is something that's going to define and give you the energy. Now, again, I go back in 97, what is that fire in me? So I didn't go to a film school. I studied zoology in Chennai, in Vivekananda College. Wanted to do medicine, but didn't get medicine. So I opted to get into filmmaking, accidentally. And I became very successful in my advertising career in my very early days. Because my very first commercial itself, when I did, the thing that drove me was think different. In an opportunity that's available, Like, in those days, advertising, the hub and the mecca of Indian advertising was Bombay at that time. And coming from Madras was kind of backward. But I wanted to change that conversation, the dialogue. So I decided to think different. And the very first campaign I got to do, for me, it was the world is an opportunity. So I wanted to collaborate with creative minds from anywhere in the world. So the first set of series of commercials I did, I worked with a cinematographer called John Matheson. John Matheson went on to do Gladiator and Phantom of the Opera, and was nominated multiple times for Oscar. But he set the ball rolling for me when we collaborated to do the MRF commercials in those days. The tires we raise are the tires you buy. We set it off doing that. So for me, it's all about, in the classic thing of, when we start learning, we start with alphabets. But recently somebody told me a new way of seeing these alphabets. Like you have ABCD, right? So you have BCD is some of the critical moments that one can reflect on. B stands for birth and D is for definite. Both are definite. Birth has happened and death will happen. But in between is C, which is about the choices we make. The choices that we make will shape us. So I found it interesting. For me, the choices were creativity, courage with compassion. So I am filling my choices between B and D with creativity and courage. So when I say courage, is to see the opportunities and the risks that you take, you will be taking or you're already taking. For me, when I was, I come from a family where my father was a part of the freedom struggle. So when I was successful in advertising in the early 90s, he, was a little frustrated Gandhian at home in Mylapore. And he called me one day and said, what was interesting in the mid-90s to express to you was anything for the young people of that era, anything India was not cool. It was a generation of MTV, Levi's, Pepsi and all that. So he saw that there is nothing that's firing up in young minds for this young nation. So he said, in advertising, you create big ideas for products. You make commercials. You make an emotion that the consumer buys into it. He said, my son, can you create an idea for India? Can you create an idea that will bring fervor in young minds and create a momentum for the young people and some kind of passion and fervor for this country? So he talked about Vande Mataram at that time, and then you will see that at the end. And that's what, on that very day when my father, fired me up with this idea and this question in me, I stopped doing advertising. I was doing so well, I could have continued, but I said I will stop doing advertising and I'll create an idea called Vande Mataram. So we all know my friend Rahman. So he was Dilip and then became Rahman. I knew him from my school days. We went to school together. He was junior to me. And then he had done more than 100 TV commercials before he did Roja. So at that time, he was also, very successful, fresh with music for cinema. So I went and told him, as an artist, he has made soundtracks for movies, but he has not made an album for himself. So I said, let's create an album called Vande Mataram. But that set me free in my imagination, in my innovation. At the end of it, I was just working on two things, which is creativity and filmmaking. I didn't change my profession, but I interpreted it and opened up new ideas. It was not just about everything about business, but business flowed, happened. But first was about that commitment and the courage with which you get into creating a big idea. So, we are a young nation. We are about 30 crore people. Again, I come back to Thalam. Imagine we, as the largest energy of young minds, find our rhythm together. Man, we will rock this world. We will deliver. We will, you will write history. So here's an opportunity, right? So that's what excites me, and that's what, even though, you might be much smarter than me in AI, but I feel that I have the same enthusiasm as you in AI. So definitely preserve, cherish this moment that is really, an opportunity that is calling you. I recently, I could have also, I made only 3 feature films so far. Of course, some of you must have seen my Tamil film called Marian. And I could have just chosen to continue to do feature films. But I chose a different path. In this new era, in the last 10 years of the digital era that came across, I saw a new opportunity after Vande Mataram, which is like, we growing up, I was told, I kept listening from parents, teachers, elders, everybody saying India is rich with culture, India is rich with heritage, India is rich with this and that, but I could never feel it, see it, embrace it, immerse myself into it. So I thought that's an amazing opportunity to do something. So Thalam is one of the expressions of that. So we decided that we'll create a big idea for India. In the next 4 to 5 years, I think it will be the largest repository of stories of India. We are creating 1,000 films on India, short films, 10 minutes, but everything cinematic. Because, we are nothing without culture. And what is culture? Just speaking our language and eating our food alone is not culture. There is so much more to get inspired by the diversity of this country. So he said, let's go and make 1,000 films that will inspire us, and we will kind of preserve it in the cloud, so we call it Virtual Bharat. And needless to say, I've come here with a purpose. I get the opportunity to meet so many young minds. I want you all to be a part of this greater community that we build, which will preserve, celebrate, and share this culture. At Virtual Bharat, we are making these 1,000 films in all the languages of India, from Nagaland to the Ran of Kutch to Sambalpur in Orissa to Kulasekarapattinam in Tamil Nadu to all these places. And in the process, I'm sharing this personally with you. Like, I lost my mother 20 years ago. But while doing these stories in remote places, we go and meet some people, families, all across. And I have now at least 5 to 10 mothers who are taking care of me. They call me from the remotest corner. One such example is near China border. In Uttarakhand, there's a place called Munsiari. I went and made a film called The Women of Munsiari. And they are a very hard lot, and they have a tough life, but they are courageous women. So I went and made a story on that. While making that story, every day it was like the crew, there's no hotel to stay there, so we stayed in people's homes. So like I was staying with a lady called Hirma Didi, and every day she will make me mundwa ki atta. So it's a millet, and they made a roti on a like a chula, okay, and then everything is farm to table. Freshly, they will pick it up and she'll cook for me, and I'll sit by her chula and eat with it. And I loved it. I kept eating for the next 6 days the same thing. Then I say goodbye to her and I land in Mumbai, and I open my bag. I found a big bag of the atta of the millet mundwa. She had tied it for me because I loved it so much. She treated me like a son and sent it. So one thing is, whatever said and done with all the technology, innovations, this and that, I think, boss, what drives is emotion. Most important is emotion. I think that is what shapes us, makes us feel, makes us do things, you know. In a way, we live as a better society. So, obviously, at Virtual Bharat, with all these innovations that are happening, we too are using a lot of AI, but in a very smart way, okay, which is, you know, how do we get quicker to understand and make these films in multiple languages, okay. In sound design, it helps us, and what is called as previs, like before we go and make a film, we're able to visualize it using AI, and then we go and use our own human intelligence and human creativity to create it. So these are great tools to engage with and nibble with. And our interaction with AI has been with purely, I would say, creative intelligence and emotional intelligence, because every film is an emotional medium. So we just don't want to have a cold film to watch. So I always, it's the kind of, you know, like, I have a lot of young people in my team. Everybody is under 30 in my office, except a few. So we figure out and we see, we are researching for one point, but we use these 5-7 people to see how they are prompting to get it. You find that the more you embrace, the more you push the AI with an emotional prompt, you will get better, closer to what you want to present creatively. So I think it's a learning curve for me also, along with you, and that's an opportunity that we need to really embrace, you know. And interestingly, my next film, we are in script development, where again we are really making AI part of storytelling. And I can't say much about it, but that will soon come. And so if you have the time, do watch and embrace and discover the great country of ours through Virtual Bharat. And lastly, I would come to show you something which is now 29 or 30 years old, but still I think it resonates and keeps me young and given me a shape and form. So it's important that you too find your shape and form at this very important time in your life. Let me play you Vande Mataram. Thank you. Ma tujhe salam, tai manne vanakkam. And so, it just takes me back to that era, but it's, there's so much more to do. And I am still young enough, so I'm excited to do a lot more filmmaking. And most important, I don't want to go empty-handed back to Mumbai. So each one of you, please, this is this digital currency in this world we live, which is, I want you all to subscribe to Virtual Bharat on YouTube and Instagram, and so that also you can write to me if you want to say something on the channel, and I will respond. But most importantly, do subscribe, and let's make this country an exciting place. We have a lot of opportunity. Most important is commitment, focus, passion, energy. Just drive yourself and don't waste any moment. This is your time. Let's go for it. Thank you, guys.